Everyone, welcome to day 33, and in this particular video we are going to talk about the AWS Lambda function usage. Correct. So in this particular video, if you have watched day 32, there we had covered how to set up the S3 event notifications. Correct. So this was our first use case, the first one, where we had created one S3 bucket and we set up that whenever you upload any file into this S3 bucket, this lambda function will be executed and it will parse the content of that object, correct, that file, and it will show that content of the file as a logs, correct, in the CloudWatch logs. So this was our first use case where you can upload any CSV file or any your Word file. Then you can trigger your Lambda function. Your Lambda function will parse the content of that file. It can be your resume as well, correct? You upload your resume that might be stored in organization within the S3 bucket. This resume can be passed through the Lambda function and it will fetch for few terms out of the your resume, correct, and that term can be further utilized for whether you have your resume needs to be filtered out or it does not need to be filtered out, correct. So that kind of first processing can be done through the S3 bucket and the Lambda function. In this particular video we are going to talk about the second use case where we are going to cover how can we set up this Lambda function to automatically start the database and automatically stop the database, correct. Why this is useful? So what happens that if you are working in an organization on a real project, correct, so on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, there might be a scenario that your team is not working, and not for the production one but for the day test and other environments rather than the production one, because for the production the business should be up and running, correct, it will be up and running every time. But what about the developers? What about the other teams who are doing the POC kind of thing? They are not going to work on the Saturday and Sunday, correct? Most probably. So you can shut down your database for those 2 days and you can save the cost, correct? And this same thing can be applied on the weekdays as well, correct? Like just suppose that your organization, your team is working from Monday to Friday and they are not working in the night, correct? So then what you have to do, you have to stop the database after 9 p.m. up to 9 a.m. morning for the 12 hours, correct? For that time duration, you can save the cost if your team is not working at that particular time. So you will be doing this every time, correct? You will go to the AWS console, you will create your what do we say, you will create your lambda sorry, you will create your database, you will stop the database, you will start the database, and these things you will be doing every time, correct. But the thing is, we don't want that kind of pattern. We want that this thing should be automated every day. Monday to Friday your lambda function will execute and it will stop the database. Every Monday to Friday your lambda function will execute, it will start the database, correct. So that kind of thing we want. So let's directly move to the AWS console, and we will be using the code and all the details from my GitHub repository where I have created the notes, as you can see. So here I do have the lambda function code, auto stop RDS and the auto start RDS. So this one I am going to utilize. So before that we will have to create one lambda function, sorry, the two lambda function and one database to start and stop. So let's move to the AWS console, and there we will create our lambda function and the database. So here I'm on my EC2 EC2 console. So let me search for the RDS, and then we will create our lambda function, sorry, the database first, and then we will move to the lambda function creation, correct, because this RDS creation itself will take a bit of time, so we will save our time to launch the lambda function. So let's get into the create database, and what we will do here, we will just select our PostgreSQL, that will be our database engine, and the version we are going with the PostgreSQL 17.2, that's the latest one. Templates, either you can go with the dev test, you can go with the free tier and the production one. If you are not aware how to launch your database and what are all the configuration details, you can watch out the other videos which are available on the channel, correct. There I have explained in detail that what option is having what kind of meaning, correct? So there you can watch out, and even you can watch out the other available videos as well. There I have covered AWS EC2 instances in much details. Like I have talked about the path-based routing, I have talked about the load balancers, I have talked about launch template, auto scaling groups, and elastic IP address, and other concepts as well, target groups, or the different policies which can be configured in your auto scaling groups. Then I have talked about the AWS VPC, VPC peering, transit gateway, your VPC endpoint setup, the net gateway, internet gateway, subnets, and all those other details I have talked about. I have also talked about the AWS S3 service, where I have talked about how can you host your static website, how can you enable S3 CORS, how can you set up the S3 event notification. I have also talked about AWS IAM role and policy. So now coming to this topic only, the AWS RDS and this Lambda function execution. Let's go through the creation of the RDS instance. So here I will be going with the production instance to make our RDS instance highly available. And in terms of availability and durability, we will be selecting this multi-AG instance deployment, not the cluster deployment, correct, for our use case. You can go with the single AG as well, but for high availability, I am going with the multi-AG template. Then a DB instance identifier, here you can pass any name, whatever you want. So I'm just passing as demo DB. That will be my DB instance identifier. Moving further, you will have to pass your username and the password. So username I will be passing as master for the username only. And then the password we will be storing in AWS Secret Manager, correct? Self-managed, not. I'm going to store it in the Secret Manager. That's the one of AWS service. You can, if you can see here, you will see the service itself here, AWS Secret Manager. Let's open up this one as well, because it will be used furthermore moving forward. We will see the details from there. Encryption key, we are going with the default which is provided by the AWS itself, and even you can create your own KMS key, and then you can utilize the same KMS key here. For that, you can search for the KMS here, and you will see the key management service. That's the another service of the AWS. Now here we will be using the different instance classes for launching our RDS instance. When we say the different instance, you understand it's just like that your EC2 instance. It's a kind of server where you will be launching your database, correct? So for that, either you can go with the standard class or bustable class. So as per your usage, every instance class has their own associated cost. So let's go with the default one which is coming over here. It will be a bit costly, but let's go with this one only for the demo purpose. db.m7g.large, correct. Then storage, I'm selecting provision IOPS SSD, and for this allocated storage, let's change the value, or let me select the different instance class, and here I will be selecting as 20 GB, correct. So dbt3 micro, no, I'm going with that dbt4g dot large. This one I am selecting, correct. And IOPS here I will be selecting as JP2, correct. So now we can provide the 20 GB per storage. Just to save the cost, I am trying to save the cost in the demo as well. So this is the configuration we are passing dbt4g.large, general purpose SSD, and the allocated storage as 20 GB. And then additional storage configuration we don't want. So let me disable this, enable storage of scaling. Don't connect to EC2 instance, correct, EC2 compute resource. If you enable this, you will be having one EC2 instance from where you can run the AWS CLI command, and you can directly manage this RDS instance, correct. So for demo purpose, we are much focused on the Lambda function, so I'm not going with that option here for now. VPC and the networking configuration, we can create the VPC, but in this particular demo, we are going with the default VPC, which is already available in the account itself. The subnets as well, we'll be selecting the same DB subnet group, which is the combination of all these three subnets which are the part of this VPC. Then publicly accessible, yes, I'm making it publicly accessible for my use case. You can, if you are deploying it for the production one or for the real project, most probably you are going to keep your database private only. So you will be keeping here as a publicly accessible, no. Now I'm going with the yes only. Security group, the default one, and if let's see if there is any other options available. Let me go with the default and SG both, correct. So certificate authority RDSC, additional configuration 5432 is the port for PostgreSQL database. Password authentication, to log in into your database we need the password, so that password will be here created in the secret manager, that we will see. Why it will be part of secret manager? Because here we had selected manage in AWS secret manager, credentials management, correct? That's why it will be populated within the secret manager itself. Moving forward, monitoring. uh, we are going with the insights standard, and let me here disable this performance, or let me enable this performance insights as well. You can see that how matrix and graph will come into the performance, and so let's go with that as well. Enable enhanced monitoring, just disable this. I'm just going for the demo purpose, and this is our use case, so this one, that one we are talking about. So let's directly focus on launching the RDS instance itself rather than going on few more details. One more detail I just wanted to highlight over here. Backup I don't want. Enable auto minor version upgrade I don't want. Maintenance window no preference. Enable delete protection. Here I am just disabling this. If you enable this delete protection, you will not be able to delete your RDS instance till the time you change, you just modify this particular setting, correct? So I will be deleting it directly. So that's why I'm just going with this disable delete protection, correct? Now let's focus on creating database. Your database will be created within few minutes, so the time being it is being created. Let's go to the lambda function service, and there we will be creating these two lambda function which needs to be created, auto start and auto stop. So let's wait for till the time. Let's move to the lambda function now. Lambda. And here meanwhile you can see, if you refresh, that one secret manager should be created over here, correct? You can see here one secret manager. You will not be able to see any value because it's being generated as of now, correct? So we will see it later on. Now focus on the lambda function, create a function, and here my function name will be auto stop RDS. That will be my lambda function name. The programming language I will be selecting as Python 3.9, and change default execution role. So let's get into the create a new role with basic lambda permission, correct? So I'm going with that, or let me select if there is any existing role. Okay, let's go with the create a new role with basic lambda permission, correct? Or you can create a role from AWS policy template, so you can select from here as well. So let's select as, what can we say, that auto start stop RDS role, that will be my role name, correct? And policy templates, let's select the which kind of access we want to grant. We want to grant RDS full access. Okay, it's not coming, so let me see if there is RDS. Okay, RDS is not there, so let's move from here, and we will create our role, and then we will attach the policy directly. Let's click on the create function. We are not going with the much details, and then we will move to the attaching policies to this particular role. Meanwhile we will be creating another functions as well. So this is auto stop RDS, and then we will be creating one more function that we will call as your auto start RDS, correct? So let me open one more tab, and there I'll be creating one more function, and this function will be called as auto, what was the first one, auto stop, correct? So it will be auto start RDS. The programming language, once again I will be selecting 3.9 and change default execution role. So here I can select the one which is now created, auto stop RDS role. I'll be selecting this one only, and the same role can be attached to the to any of the service, correct? So I'm just selecting this one only, service role auto stop RDS. Let's click on the create function, and your function will be created within few seconds. So here now let's change the code as well. So meanwhile probably your database is being created and modified, so let's upload the code over here as well. So here we do have the auto stop RDS lambda.py. So let's get into that, and let me copy the code from here. So let me copy the code. Okay, we can copy it from here, import boto3. Anyway, let me just copy this completely. Let me do one thing. click on the edit. Oh, sorry, even if it's my repository, but I've just forgot to log in. So let me do copy this in this way, and I can change the code over here. Let me do the control V, then for I in response, and after that I have to copy this particular part. So let me copy this part as well. Command C, and then let me change the code here for this one. Yeah, so it's fine, correct? What is there? Okay, let's save this code. So deploy the code, and what needs to be changed over here, let's see that as well. Nothing needs to be changed most of the time. So what we are going to do, we will be creating 3 environment variables over here. We are importing the Boto3, we are importing the JSON, the system, the date time import, and everything. We will be configuring 3 environments over here, correct? There will be mentioning the region. Why it is required? Because our logic will be performing working in the similar way. It will look for the where variable, it will look for the key variable, it will look for the value variable. So in these three value we are going to, in these three variable we are going to pass certain value. In where we are going to pass the region. In key we are going to pass the one tag value that will be called as auto start stop, and in the value we are going to pass the value as yes, correct? In the region name, here you will see the region name, and the value, this will be the value, correct, in the lambda function, and the same tag we will be creating in the our RDS instance as well. So let's create these three variables as well. So I'll be creating this where first. Let me create this, and let's get into the configuration. Let's get into the environment variable, click on the edit, add environment variable, and here you go with the first environment variable, then you go with your second environment variable, key, control C, and then you need to pass the value. So this will be our value. Here you need to pass your region. So the region, we do have this episode 1 only, so I'll be passing this episode 1. Why episode 1 is fixed? Because I'm creating the database in episode 1 only, episode 1, correct? So and then the tag value auto start to stop. Let me copy this one as well, and then the value we need to type. Let's type here yes, it's the simple one, correct? Let's click on the save, and your lambda function is ready to be used. What is left over here? Let's attach the policy here as well. So let me open up this role, and this role should have the access to your RDS instance, correct? Then only it will be able to fetch the RDS instance, it will be able to relate with that. So for that I will have to attach the policy here, right? As of now it has the AWS Lambda basic execution role. So let me attach the policy for RDS as well. Let me search for the RDS, and RDS full access as of now I will be granting over here. So RDS full access it has. Let me attach the Lambda full execution as well. Lambda full access, add permissions. This auto stop RDS, this particular role has all the RDS and Lambda full access, correct? Now the same code we can pass in the AWS auto start RDS as well. So let me copy the things in for that as well, auto start RDS, and here I will have to again paste the code, command C, and then where is that, auto start up to Boto3, and then auto start yes. Then I need to pass this up to here, up to def. Let me pass command C. Then we will be passing the further code details over here, and after that I need to pass this one up to here, correct? Okay, so that's fine. Click on the deploy, and you are ready. And here also you will have to pass the environment variables. So let's pass the environment variable here as well, and the same environment variable we will need to pass over here as well. So where, and the value will be ap shout 1, then the key will be the key will be the same. Let's copy the key from here, auto start stop, where is that? Yes, and the value will be yes. So that's the value we are keeping. Let's save this one as well. You have saved the things, you have the permissions, everything attached over here. Now we can work on this. So let's see whether this database is available as of now or not. So it's still getting modified, so let's wait for a few more times, and then we'll be working on this database, whether to start, whether to stop, and all those things we will see. Let me refresh from the browser itself, configuring enhanced monitoring. So it will take few more minutes, I think, most probably. So meanwhile, let's understand the code here, how it is working. So let me just open up this one which is highlighted. Here we have imported few packages from for Boto3 and all those things. Then let's focus on the function set RDS on, where os.environment where is having the value of the region episode 1. So it will get into this region, correct? This where will be having the value episode 1. Then key is having the tag auto start stop. Then the client Boto3.client RDS region name. So this it will look for the RDS service in which region? In episode 1 region. So it will list down all the RDS instances which are available in the episode 1, that is in the Mumbai region, correct? It will describe all these DB instances. When we say the describe, that means it will list down all those things, the complete details of the DB instances. It will print that as a response. Then in the response we will look for the DB instances one by one, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 so on. It will look for the ARN of all those DB instances, and it will print those, that list tags for resource, correct? So whatever the tag are associated with our RDS instances, it will look for the those tag as well, and it will list down all those tags. So what we will do, we will create one tag in our RDS instance with this value auto start stop, and the value in the tag will be yes, correct? This one you need to be focused, because our logic will work on these things only. So now if you see, if 0 equal to length of the tag list, so if your RDS instance does not have any tag, correct? If your database, this database does not have any tag, so let's create the tag as well here. So let's click on the manage tags, click on the add tag, and here we will be creating the tag as well auto start stop, command C, and here we go with the value yes, that will be our value yes. Let's click on the save changes. So what will happen here over here, so if you see the code logic, if the length of tag is 0, that means if there is no tag, it will become the 0. So this will print a custom message, DB instance is not associated with required tag, correct? And it will stop the functioning. If the length of tag is not 0, that means if the tags are available over there, if for tag in response to tag list, if the tag is available, it will go for this for loop. Then it will now start comparison, doing the comparison point, correct? If the key equal to key, this key is the part of your what do we say, the tag, correct? So if the tag is having this key, and this key is equal to the value equal to key, this key is the one. Now I am highlighting this key. This blue key is coming from where? It is coming from this key, correct? You can see in the left side. And from where this key is having, the small key is having the value, this small key is having the value from the uppercase key, correct, the larger one. So this key is having the value from the lambda function. In the lambda function we had created this tag auto start stop. So now in the right side, this key is having the value auto start stop, and now your tag key, that means the RDS instance tag key is also having the auto start stop, correct? So this one, the line number 81 value in the left side equals to the auto start stop, the value which is in the lambda function in the right side against the key value, correct? If this becomes equal, similarly for the value as well, if the value in the lambda function, here it's the value which is coming from the value, and this value in the lambda function is configured as yes. So if this yes becomes equal to the tag, the value which is in the tag of the RDS instance, this one, correct? If it becomes equal, then the next functioning will be happening, correct? So if value equal to value, that means yes equal to yes, then it will now look for the DB instances. If the DB instance status is available, it will call the function stop DB instance and it will stop your database. If that is in stopped status already, it will say that it is already stopped. In the similar way, if it's in the starting state, it will say that your database is already in on stopping state. If it is not associated with any tag or something, it will say that this is not associated, correct? So this is how your lambda function is going to work. And from here in the lambda handler, we are calling this set RDS all function. So here if you see, we have defined this set RDS all, correct? So now you can see your database is available, correct? We need to stop this database. So there is one option, you can click on the stop temporarily, you can acknowledge, if you can take the snapshot and all those things you can do. But I don't want to do all these things manually. I want these things need to be done from the lambda function. What I will do, I will get into the code here. I can click on the test. I will create a test event over here and create new test event. And here I will just say that nothing needs to be passed, just an empty value. And click on the save. Okay, here you need to pass as well. Click on the save and then click on the invoke. Here if you see, sorry, execution started, and most probably let's see whether it has impacted the RDS instance or not. You can see your RDS instance is being stopped. The same log you can see over here as well. This lambda function console is not working fine, but yeah, anyway, you can see status succeed, test event name, test event that we created, function logs, you can see. Yeah, now it is stable. Okay, so you can see the availability zone in which VPC we have defined all these things. You can see all the details. You can see the multi-AG, what kind of configuration we have passed. You can see the DB instance ARN, DB demo DB, correct? All those details what we had passed. You can see the tag list. This tag list is from your RDS instance. You can see the tag list over here as well. So all these things are there, and it prints the message stopping DB instance demo DB. From where it is coming? It is coming from your code only. Here if you see, that was our custom message stopping DB instance and the ARN. So you see the same message over here, correct? Stopping DB instance demo DB, correct? So this is how you can create your lambda function. You can automate all these things to do your day-to-day task, and it will save your time as well. It will take a bit of time in stopping, and then we will see that how even you can start your RDS instance using the same kind of lambda function, correct? The different lambda function what we have created here, auto start RDS. Here we have already created our environment variables, key, or oh, it will not work. You can see why it will not work. So let me just do the copy paste over here, otherwise we will go with the mistakes. So let me just copy this auto start stop, and you can see the error, correct? A is not there. So let me just paste it. Key is perfectly fine, key in the caps, where where needs to be in the caps, that is fine. Episode 1 and value, that is also fine. So let's click on the save. So your lambda function is ready to start the RDS instance as well. It has the permissions attached, the general configuration. You can see the timeout 0 minute 3 second, and one of the most best feature out of the lambda function, you can see that the moment it works, you have to pay for that particular moment only, correct? You are already aware when we are talking about the lambda function and all those other details. So the moment your lambda function works, you will be paying for that much time duration only. And here you can click on the view CloudWatch logs as well. So the all the things which are being done, all the activities which are being performed, that even you can see in the CloudWatch logs. Most probably this log streams should be generated. Let's see that. So it's going a bit slow, so let's click on this log stream, and here you will see this, it is printing hello Manish and all those things. If you expand this, you will see this particular custom message. This custom message is coming from here only. You will see the first message, hello Manish, correct? So you will see the all these logs which are all these logs which are coming on the AWS console over here as well. So everything is coming here, correct? You can see all the activities are happening. So you can see or you can check the CloudWatch logs as well. If anything fails over here, you can do the troubleshooting from here. You can check the logs, you can fix according to that. Then the secret manager we had talked, so let's refresh over here. Earlier it knows where secret value set, correct? Now if you refresh, you will see one secret value should be there. This is the master username what we created, and the password is auto generated because we had made it as to be auto generated only. So your password is there, correct? It will take a bit of time to stop, and then we will focus on the start as well. Meanwhile, yes, we can cover one more thing here. So we were talking about the performance insights as well. So when we were configuring this, if you remember, in the configuration we had enabled this performance insight for the 7 days, correct? Retention period with the 7 days. What all things you can check in the performance insight? So let's click over here. For the Divi instances, you will enable the performance insights. You will see all those Divi instances listed over here. So let's select the Divi instance, demo Divi. What are all the loads which are coming on your database that you can check from here? Average active sessions, top weights, which kind of SQL queries are taking much time. So that kind of top weights you can see. Top is SQL, which of the SQL query is taking a lot of time to get executed, correct? So that kind of SQL query you can check here. Top host, so out of the number of connections your database has, so how many number of connections are making, like how many number of maximum connections are there. Top users, out of the database users, which user is the having the high utilization of your databases, correct? Top sessions type, top application, top databases. So within this RDS instance you might create the multiple database as well, correct? So which database is being consumed mostly, so all those things you can check from here. Then you can check the metrics as well. When we say the metrics, all the CPU utilization which are happening, correct? All the free memory, free space, free your IO throughput, the networking part, the max time, idle time in transactions, the your what we can say, the sessions, how much how many number of sessions are being maintained, how much time duration it is utilizing. So all these things you can check from here. If there is any deadlock, so how many deadlocks are there, so all these things you can monitor from here. How many transactions are happening per second. So your performance insights gives you a lot of details about your database instance, and from there you can check out the complete details. You can work on that things, correct? So you can see all the things. You can change the graphs. And one more thing, we'll be talking about the snapshot. What is the usage of the snapshot? Snapshot you can use for the actual purpose of the snapshot is having the backup of your database, correct? So when we say the backup, that means just suppose that tomorrow something happened with your database and you are not having any backup, so you come up with the things that you have lost all the data, correct? But at the same time, if you are maintaining the snapshot, that means the backup of your database, you can recover the complete database from the previous. Like tomorrow something happened with your database and you have the snapshot available in your system for 2 days only, correct? So you can, tomorrow you can recover your database with the snapshot which is available on today, correct? So you can recover the complete database. You can create your database from the scratch itself using that snapshot. You can share the snapshot with yourself within the system. You can share the snapshots across the different accounts as well, and that can help you to do the things accordingly, correct? So these snapshots will be available for that particular use case. Then one more feature of the RDS instance is parameter groups. So when we say the parameter groups, so if you get into the default, you will see there are two default parameters. If I click on the create parameter group, you may see that let me search if I find anything. Okay, so I will have to create one parameter group. So let me just click on the create parameter group, or rather than I can go with the default one. So let me go with the Postgres 17. Here just suppose that for this particular RDS instance you want to store the logs, correct? You want to store the logs, so you will have to set some of the parameters over here. So for that there is a parameter called as log retention period. Ideally, it is for the 3 days. 1440 into 3, that becomes your 4320. 4320, that is your parameter where you can configure, and you can select this particular value, and accordingly you can change this as well. So it's modifiable, correct? So you can see that it's modifiable, and as this is the default one, so that's why it's not coming to do any modification. But if you create your own parameters, correct, so then you can change the value of this, correct? So RDS, sorry, the log retention period, then you can search for search path, where you can pass the schema of your database, correct? You can have your master or any particular schema if you want. So that schema you can pass over here, and that will help you to create your uh, to set the value for this search path, correct? Similarly, you can go with other options which are available over here as well. And let's wait for this one as well. It's still getting stopped. So the moment it will be stopped, we will execute this auto start lambda function as well. And I think it's taking much time, and the video might get longer, so I don't want to do the same thing again. But let's execute this lambda function. At least you can see the message which will come on this auto start, correct? So let's click on this what we say, the code. Let's create one test event over here as well. Let me click on the test, sorry, create new test event, and here I will have to pass the name test. Click on the save. Sorry, I need to pass this value as well. Click on the save. Oh, event already exists, so let me click on the invoke, and here probably you will see some of the message. What is the message? DV instance demo DV is in a stopping state, please wait before starting. So your database is already being stopped, so you will not be able to start this. So if it is just in a stopped state, most probably and for sure it is going to start, correct? You can see the message as well. So it has fetched all the details, and according to that it has printed that demo DB is already in stopping state, please wait before starting. And that is coming from your code itself only. You can see here auto start RDS. Here you will see the custom message, DB instance is already in starting, this one, please wait before starting, correct? This is the message which is printed, please wait before starting. So you can see the same. So for sure it is going to start your database as well. Okay, now if we execute, it will start, stop temporarily. You can see the status. Now let me invoke this once again. Let me close this, and let's click on the invoke. Now it will start your database as well. DB started DB instance demo DB, and here you will see that DB instance should be starting. You can see the message, status message, correct? So this is how you can utilize your lambda function to do the automation stuffs. You can create the lambda function which will do the automatic execution of your the start and stop of the database. And to do the automatic execution based on certain timestamps, what you can do, you can create your triggers in the lambda function that we have not talked about. We have not talked till now. So here you can select your event bridge. CloudWatch, not the event bridge we have to select, not this one. So where it is, CloudWatch logs, no, I need this event bridge. Why it is coming? Okay, sorry, create a new role. So we can create over here the cron expression, correct? Here you can pass any rule, demo rule, description you want to pass, you can pass the description. Then here you can create your cron expression, as you can see from here, cron 17. Just let me just copy this. In the similar way you can create your cron expression, correct? This cron expression, this trigger will ensure that your lambda function will be executed on that particular timestamp. So it will automatically start and stop, trigger your lambda function on those particular timestamps, and the lambda function will automatically start and stop the database, correct? So that event bridge will be there to execute this lambda function, correct? So this is what we wanted to cover up in this video. I know it has been become a bit lengthy in this particular video to wait for this database to be stopped and being available to start again once again. So it has been a bit lengthy, but I hope you like this content, and stay tuned and subscribe to the channel to watch out more content. Till the time, thank you. Bye bye.